I was tremendously surprised by the lack of casualties during Ben's encounter with Desmond. I mean, here's a guy that when he was first introduced into the series, he came off as completely amoral. And Ben is the kind of character that can lie to you straight-faced, looking in your eyes. Yeah. And everything, or he'll tell you a half-truth to get to a lie. And you know, he shot Locke without any thought, without any remorse. You know, he shot Cesar without any. There was no thought to it. It was just instinctual. And all of a sudden, he shoots to wound Desmond. I mean, here he is. He's standing at close proximity. He's got a you know, point blank shot at the guy. Could have put him down, put him on the ground instantly. And instead, he just wounds him in the arm. And instead of, you know, shooting Penny, because he obviously can identify Whitmore's daughter right off the bat, he starts to engage in a dialogue with her and everything. So, you know, it begs the question: did he really intend to kill Whitmore's daughter? Did he just want Whitmore to think he was the personal agony that it would cause him, or what's the agenda here? And it's got me guessing.
I'm thinking he didn't kill Desmond because he knows Desmond's still got a role to play with the island. Yeah. That's the only reason I can think of that he wouldn't kill him.
And then maybe he thought that the imminent threat to Penny, to Desmond's son, would be the push that Desmond needs to get him to go back to the island, because Desmond is just downright determined he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe Ben didn't kill Desmond because he knows that Whitmore doesn't like Desmond.
It's a reminder. Yeah, a reminder of that. But do you remember the scene too where he actually apologizes to Penny? He says, you know, I really don't want to do this. He says, your father is a terrible man. And I think he would have shot her from looking at him until little Charlie walks out. Yeah. And then he did that, oh my God, you've got a child. I can't do this. I didn't have a mother.
See, this,
I can't leave him without a mother.
It's like this unbroken coldness is all of a sudden like broken by all of a sudden this uncharacteristic empathy on his part, where and again a kid comes into the picture. And whenever a child's involved, it's almost like he can relate because of that abused past of his.
Okay, let's start with the questions that this episode left us. I wanted to know, does Ben know who Christian is? Because when Son said, we saw this old guy Christian, and he told us to wait in here, did Ben act like he knew who he was?
He looked a little disgusted.
He's kind of surprised a little bit by it too, yeah.
Because I'm trying to figure out if we knew anything from past episodes that had told us whether Christian and Ben had ever been.
See, his pathological lying makes it hard to tell what Ben knows and what Ben doesn't know.
But we don't know.
He keeps his cards close to his chest throughout this whole entire thing, so he could be completely ignorant to who Christian is.
And Jack has never talked to him about him, do you think? I don't remember Jack ever talking to Ben about his father.
No, I don't. I think that they keep as much of their personal history to themselves as possible whenever around Ben, because they just don't know what they can trust him with.
I was wondering what Alana meant when she said, what lies in the shadow of the statue. What on earth is that?
Where did that come from?
Is the statue the four-toed statue?
That's what I was thinking.
And I wonder if that's some kind of a code.
That's a code, yeah.
For something, but why she thought he knew, because maybe she doesn't realize he wasn't one of the original on the island.
And apparently everybody else answered correct, and he didn't.
Yeah.
Otherwise he wouldn't be laying on.
So, see, that's something. Did she ask anybody else? I mean, we don't know that. Is that something that she asked, or something the island had her ask?
Yeah, it's something.
We don't know, because we haven't seen the statue. In fact, they had no reference to the statue at all in this episode.
Yeah.
Until she mentioned it, so it must be something we can look forward to.
Yeah.
I was just kind of wondering if Ben is really kind of intimidated now by Locke, or whether he's completely surprised as he acted by all the things that were taking place, or whether that's another mind game he's playing with Locke. Like he really knows that Locke is supposed to take over, or think that he's going to take over, and he's just kind of playing along with it. It's just as you said before, you never know with Ben what you're going to get. You know, I thought that was something that, by looking at the two of them, they were playing off of each other so much, and it seemed like Locke thought he had the upper hand against him.
I feel like, you know how like when Desmond knew that Charlie was going to die, and he kept on trying to stop it, but eventually it had to happen. I wonder if Ben knows that Locke is going to be the leader, but he keeps on trying to stop it for long as possible.
But it begs the question, then why not just kill Locke?
Well, he did try.
He did, and he shot him, almost killed him.
Oh, and I guess he was going to try to do it again.
Yeah.
That's what Alex said.
And
Yeah,
Alex,
that's correct,
yeah. So I mean, the island that seems to know what's in Ben's mind. So you kind of wonder if Ben is not like the Lucifer of the island. I mean, that's come right out and say, you know, he's the fallen angel and he's trying to take over. I don't know.
Yeah. My question is the significance of the hieroglyphics on the wall in the temple. Is this a reference back to Egypt or something else that we should know, or does the island have its own unique anthropology to it? In other words, the mystery of the black cloud would cause people to have an impulse to create a mythology around it to understand it, much the same way that the Greeks would create mythology around forces of nature that they didn't understand. You know, this ship got shipwrecked, obviously Poseidon got ticked and everything, you know, and you know, so is it their own unique, is it their own unique religion or the religion of some primitive civilization that they created surrounding that black fog, or is it a reference to something we already know?
Yeah.
You know, given my lack of Egyptology, I didn't know if that was, you know, a reference back to, you know, actual Egyptian civilization, or if it was something, a myth, you know, the myths that were created by the inhabitants of that island at some other point in time.
Do you think the island would have been inhabited by Egyptians? Or would it be kind of like that pyramid that's supposed to be buried underground that nobody knows about?
That could be. I mean, it could be. It could be basically an implication that at one time civilization was localized in one area, and then, you know, a diaspora occurred, a migration occurred, kind of like a Tower of Babel situation, or Pangea, if you're not the religious type, you know, where there was one big continent and then the continent split.
Yeah.
And everything, and yeah, that's a possibility, you know. It's just that it seems that to me that it could be that they're saying, well, look, whenever humanity comes across something that they don't understand, they have an impulse to build a myth around it, and to create some kind of religion around it. And some of the religion might be true, some of it might be error, and like, you know, the blackness that's obviously, or cloud, whatever, is showing up to basically clear up the misunderstandings.
We also had some questions from people that watched the show. Bill wants to know whether Ben apologized to Desmond because Ben didn't kill Penny, is that going to make it worse for Desmond in the end? Is something going to happen? You know, is Penny going to make it so that Desmond definitely can't get back to the island, or what do you guys think?
Well, she's definitely an impediment to his getting back to the island. Whenever he's at the island, the only thing he thinks about is Penny. And so, you know, the idea after, you know, this is a dream realized to him, you know, finally after all these years, what is it, 4 years or so? Yeah. Being reunited, you know, it's like, well, there ain't no way, you know, and there could be further misery visited on him and Penny and the rest of them if he doesn't return to the island. So yeah, it could be, you know, apology for failing to pull him away from, you know, Penny.
Penny should have died.
It's a possibility.
You know, she's gonna have a lot of
Yeah, she was like, she wasn't, like, Whitmore wasn't supposed to have a child with an outsider, so maybe she's not supposed to be around.